It's AFA Today on AFR Talk from Lower Manhattan, Statue of Liberty just out in Liberty Harbor. And I got to tell you today, for those of you watching on the AFA channel, you can see that. But I got to tell you today, and this is really, 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 really good. It's 55 degrees in New York City. It's important for me to tell you that because I never thought we would see 55 degrees ever again as long as I lived. So glad that we did. Speaking of weird things, did I mention weird things? During the break just now, the lovely bride, and for those of you that can see this on the TV broadcast or online, if you don't now, go back and see it later. But the lovely bride just sent me this picture, and these little cookies that are right here. There's a red one or a pink one, and a green one, and a chocolate one, and I don't know what the flavors are. They come from this place called La Durée. They are a type of cookie known as a macaron, and evidently today is National Macaron Day. Now, I got a question for those of you that are on hold because I may need some advice on this. She says in the little text that she sent me, today is National Macaron Day. She showed me that picture that I just showed you, and she goes, macarons. And then she says, just thought I'd inform you of that. Now, again, we're talking about decision making, right? The question that I have here, and this is obviously a very, very timely and important, maybe earth-shaking question. What am I supposed to take away from that text? Today is National Macaron Day. Macarons. Just thought I'd inform you of that. Was she really concerned that my level of intelligence on the matter of what today's holiday was really what she... In other words, if I show up tonight and say, I'm really glad that you told me today was National Macaron Day because I didn't know that before, and so I learned something. Thank you for looking out for my level of education. I'm really touched by that. Is that Brent, you think that's a good... Is that a good takeaway? Am I catching everything she's trying to communicate? Oh, he thinks I'm missing something. He thinks I haven't quite put my finger on what the message of that is yet. Okay, I'll have to figure it out. Maybe you have some ideas about that. Gary in North Carolina. Hi, it's Kevin McCullough. Glad you're with us.
Hello, sir. I was thinking about what you had said about whether it's better to be feared or be liked. And the fact of the matter is this. I mean, like you had said in Proverbs, 9:10, it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And in 1:7, it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that you can't be a leader if you're not going to sit there and understand this. You have to be a leader. If you want to be a leader, you have to have a little bit of fear. Fear brings respect. It's just like, and if God says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, okay, if that's as it is, and it is, then it should be done in everything that we do, such as you said about children.
Right.
And it starts with the child, and then it goes all the way to the adult, and then the adult fears and respects each other, and then it goes all the way up to government. And unfortunately, we don't think like this. If we did, we wouldn't have the problems we do.
Oh, in so many ways. I mean, just think about and thank you for the call, Gary. Think about the abortion issue, for example. We as a society have no fear of God, not real fear. 9 out of 10 people call themselves God-fearing Christians in America. I don't believe that stat for a second, because 9 out of 10 people, there's a lot of people in that 9 out of 10 that are having abortions, have had abortions, give money to abortion groups. And God makes it really clear about how we're supposed to treat specifically vulnerable children. So those people do what? Well, when they get together in their little religious circles, they have these discussions about, how much God loves us. It's the same debate. Is God our buddy or is he our God? Should we fear God or should we, like God? Like on Facebook, I click the like button so it shows that I like him. Should I buy the macarons and show up because I know what the expectation is? Because I fear disappointing the lovely bride? Or should I just, say, well, she'll probably dig it if I just say, hey, thanks for telling me that it was the holiday. Fear is not separate from the idea or the concept of love. I wrote my middle book, The Kind of Man Every Man Should Be. I dedicated it to my two grandfathers, who were World War II Navy guys, traveled the world, saw a lot of action, did a lot of tough things. My mom's father, Grandpa Shetter, when I was growing up, I feared him. He kept his house in order. He had a very strong voice. If he rumbled, you could hear it anywhere in the house, and it was just bellowed. He could be hard if things weren't done up to expectation. There was a level or a standard within his mind, within his acceptability of things, that needed to be meted out at a certain precision. And that was his expectation. His favorite phrase to say to me all the time was, if you can't find time to do something right the first time, when will you find time to do it over again? Now that just gives you an idea of who he was, how intense this was for him, how important. But at the end of the day, did I question his love for me? Did I not love him? Was there any ounce of abject dejection in my spirit because my grandfather expected things and had expectations and standards, and I was afraid not to meet those standards? Especially if I was using his tools or his equipment, or I was doing something in his house, place he had sovereignty over. No. I wanted to have his well done. I wanted him to pat me on the head and say, I'm so proud of you, Kev. I longed for that. So I don't think fear is separate. I don't think it has to be. Now, molestation, abuse, things that cause people to experience fear from that angle of things, I think you're delving into a different territory. But that's not what America does. Someone yesterday tried to call the show, well, America invades all these countries. Why are we upset with Russia? And I'm like, when did last America annex a country? When did we last go in and take it over and say, it's mine, 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 mine? We haven't done that forever. We go into places and get rid of the tyranny and the dictatorships, and we set them free. And we give it back. And we say, it's not for us to keep. You should be self-determined in your governance. And because we've done that consistently over time, it's no wonder that nations like the Ukraine, when they start to feel the leather-gloved choking hand of Putin wrap around their neck, that they scream out and say, "Help, America!" Now, does that mean we have to do things militarily? I don't think so. I'm not sure exactly. But I don't think there's any downside for the nations of the world to have fear of what America would say or do if in the process of living life on this planet, we decided we were going to take a really strong moral stand on things. I don't think that's a bad. I don't think we lose in that scenario. I could be wrong. Alvin in Indiana, what do you think? Hello, Alvin. Alvin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So what do you think?
I become a Christian, July will be 5 years ago. Now, before that, I was a bouncer in a bar. I'm 6'5" and 320 pounds. People see me standing there, they feared me, which in turn gave me respect, which in turn, once they got to know me, they ended up liking me. So, they all kind of go hand in hand, but, you got to have the fear first.
Now, Alvin, if you had just been a buddy on the sidewalk And people are like, hey, come on, don't be too hard on me. And they went in and they made trouble, and there would have been bad things happen. What would have been the outcome? If you tried to be everybody's buddy first, what would have been the outcome?
Well, actually, I did have a couple instances where I had to remove people from the premises, and like I said, I'm 6'5", 320 pounds. Usually, I just pick them up, carry them out, put them in the middle of the street, take 2 steps back, say, now you can go home, or you can try coming back inside. And usually they'd be like, well, you know what, you're right. I'll just go home and sleep it off.
Because I have a feeling like if you didn't enforce your position of being the gateway to security, for lack of a better analogy, I don't think the employer would have kept you in that position for long. Right,
but I mean, and that's exactly right. But I mean, I did enforce what needed to be enforced.
Right,
but
and as a result, people ended up liking you because you provided the right type of security for them. It's a great example, Alvin. Thank you for the analogy. And I don't know what it is in the 21st century. There's a real authority. We just hate authority. The left especially hates it, except when they have it. You remember in the case where Eric Holder was asked to prosecute the Black Panthers that were stalking the polling places in Philly, and they had a conviction on the books because the undersecretaries had gone through, tried it, figured out all the pronounced guilt. The Black Panthers had accepted it. It was a done deal, and he came in and he undid all of that because we don't want to be too oppressive. When they have authority, they want things to go their way, and they'll be ironclad, even to the extent of making it dangerous for other people in order to accomplish that. But we as human beings, we don't like people to tell us what to do. But we also really need strong boundaries. That's the weird thing about people. If we didn't have laws that banned murder and rape and theft, we would have a land of anarchy. Some people say we still do in some areas because enforcement of some of those things isn't very good. But we don't like it, but we want people to respect ours when we have it. That's the craven, carnal heart of mankind. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to James in Arkansas. James, you're up next. Feared or liked, which is better?
Well, yes, good afternoon. In fact, I'm a God-fearing man for the reason that God carries all the love and all the discipline. And it's kind of ironic, perfect timing. My example is reverse of the guy you just spoke.
Okay.
My first year in the high school, being a short guy and someone who talks funny, I had a lot of people who liked me, but they made fun of me, so I got in a lot of fights. My second year, not so many fights, and people were telling me, well, I think it's because they're afraid of you. Well, it isn't because I won, because I didn't. It's because they just knew I would fight and to stand up for the right reason.
So at the very least, John, they feared the fact that you would respect yourself and to stand up for yourself, so they thought this is not worth it to get involved, to scrap with this guy. He's going to stand up for himself.
Yes, sir. That having a backbone carries you a long ways.
Yep. No, I agree with that.
John, this country has lost the backbone. We have no spine. And the military is our backbone, and spine is going away.
Well, we're trying to reduce it and shrink it to the smallest numbers since World War II. I don't know how that makes any sense. Real quickly, Linda is in Illinois. Linda, you may be the final word on this today. Your thoughts on whether it's better for the world as a whole for America to be feared or to be liked. What do you think?
Hi, Kevin. Thank you, and God bless you for what you do.
Thank you.
I believe I was interested to hear your other side of the coin because I'm a Reagan-era Republican, and I just feel that peace through strength is basically the only way. So you made me start thinking about the other side and what would happen if America liked us. And that just reminded me of what happened to me when I was in fourth grade. The other girls pretended to like me when they wanted to like me. And a lot of them really did always like me, but I could never depend on them to act like it or to do the right thing necessarily, and just do the human nature. And I was also thinking about our relationship with God and the average Christian who had gone through a terrible divorce, lost a child, any kind of a horrible circumstance like that. They probably don't like God at that moment. They certainly don't like what he did, but they respect him and they lean on him as a Christian. And I really believe that God sets the example for the father in the home, and he also sets the example for the government leaders, and we should follow him.
Very interesting. Linda, good stuff. Thank you for being a binge thinker. I love it when people come on and say, you got me thinking. And that's what I hope to do every day. Obliterate the confusion, amplify truth, and get us all thinking towards greater clarity every single day. Well, I guess the greater clarity for me is I better buy some macarons before I head home today. I just hope I get the right ones. Maybe some research would be good to figure that out. I'll do that while I listen to Brian Fisher and Focal Point coming your way next on AFR Talk. And till next time, this is AFA Today. I'm Kevin McCullough. Have a great afternoon.